Hi students, welcome back to the Google Classroom of Class 10 Geography Chapter 7 Lifelines of National Economy. I hope all of you have studied the previous topics of this chapter very well and you all performed very well in your test paper. Children, we use different things, materials and services in our daily life. Some of these are available in our immediate surroundings, while the other requirements are met by bringing them from other places. The movement of these goods and services from their supply locations to demand locations necessitates the need for transportation. In the previous class, you have studied about the classification of means of transport. Which are they? Land, water, and air. Then the land transport is further divided into three: roadways, railways, and pipelines. I hope all of you have studied these roadways very well. Railways are the principal mode of transportation for freight and passengers in India. The Diamond Quadrilateral is the high-speed rail network between the four metropolitan cities in India. Which are the four metropolitan cities of India? Yes, they are Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi and Kolkata. And railway is the largest public sector undertaking in India. So children, what are the different means of transport? Land, water and air. Land includes roadways, railways and pipelines. Today we will learn about railways and pipelines. First one is railways. Railways are the principal mode of transportation for goods and passengers in India. This is one mark question. Railways are the principal mode of transportation for goods and passengers in India. Railways also make it possible to conduct various activities like business, sightseeing, pilgrimage, along with transportation of goods over longer distances. Then, apart from an important means of transport, the Indian railways have been a great integrating force for more than 150 years. Railways in India bind the economic life of the country as well as accelerate the development of the industry and agriculture. The railways help in bringing the countryside in close contact with towns and cities, and they help in national integration and respect towards nation's diversity and a sense of pride in Indian culture and traditions. The Indian Railways is the largest public sector undertaking in the country. The first train steamed off from Mumbai to Thane in 1853, covering a distance of 34 kilometers. Indian Railways is one of the largest network as 7,133 stations and 64,460 kilometer route length. 7,213 kilometer locomotives and 53,220 passenger service vehicle, 6,493 coach vehicles and 2,29,381 wagons as on 2011. The Indian Railway is now organized into 16 zones. Freight wagon 23,721. The progress made by Indian Railways since independence. The total length of the railway network as on March 2002 was 60,028 km. Additional lines on the already existing busy routes, total running track had increased from 59,315 km to 1,07,969 km in 2001. Electrification of route. By March 2006, the Indian Railways had got 17,500 kilometer of railway route electrified. That means 26% of the total route was electrified. So children, what are the different purpose of electrification? Relieves railways from steam engines and ensure more speedy movement. It helps clean and pollution-free travel. Container service provides door-to-door service for goods and commodities by CCI. CCI means Competition Commission of India. The longest platform in the world is Gorakhpur. Gauge, the distance between the tracks. So what do you mean by gauge? The distance between the tracks. Then what are the different types of gauge? Broad gauge, meter gauge, and narrow gauge. Broad gauge means the distance between the tracks is 1.676 meters. Then meter gauge 1 meter. Then narrow gauge in between 0.762 and 0.610. So what do you mean by uni gauge? It is broad gauge and the distance between the tracks is 1.676 meters. Then what are the benefits of this railway? Low cost of transshipment, less time consumption, and more convenience, smooth running, and fuel efficient, more capacity and speed. So these are the benefits of railways. Low cost of transshipment, less time consumption, more convenience, fuel efficient, more capacity and speed. These are the pictures of the different types of gauge. First one, broad gauge. This is the picture of broad gauge. The distance between the tracks is 1.676 meters. The next one, meter gauge. The distance between the tracks is only 1 meter. Then this is narrow gauge and the distance between the tracks is 0.762 and 0.610 meters. Okay. This is the table 7.1 of our textbook. Children, this is new edition textbook. So there are some changes in your textbook. Please correct it in your textbook. Okay. The Indian Railway network runs on multiple gauge operations extending over 66,687 kilometers, excluding Metro Kolkata. So there are three gauges: broad gauge, meter gauge, and narrow gauge. Then routes in kilometers. Broad gauge 60,000 kilometers, 60,510 kilometers, and running track 85,614. Then total track in kilometers 1,12,388. Then meter gauge 3,880 kilometers and running track 4,170 kilometers and total track 4,747 kilometers. The narrow gauge 0.762 and 0.610. Total route 2,297. Then running track is also the same, 2,297, and total track 2,495. So what are the development of railways? The Indian Railway is now reorganized into 16 zones. The distribution pattern of the railway network in the country has been largely influenced by physiographic, economic, and administrative factors. Once more, the distribution pattern of railway network of a country has been largely influenced by physiographic, economic, and administrative factors. The northern plains, with their vast level land, high population density, and rich agricultural resources, provided the most favorable condition for their growth. However, a large number of rivers requiring construction of bridges across their wide beds posed some obstacles. In the hilly terrains of peninsular region, railway tracks are laid through low hills, gaps or tunnels. The Himalayan mountainous regions too are unfavorable for the construction of railway lines due to high relief, sparse population. Sparse population means scattered population and lack of economic opportunities. Likewise, it was difficult to lay railway lines on the sandy plains of western Rajasthan, swamps of Gujarat. What do you mean by swamps? Waterlogging areas. Swamps of Gujarat, forested tracts of Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, and Jharkhand. The contiguous or sequential stretches of Sahyadri could be crossed only through gaps or passes. In recent times, the development of the Konkan Railway along the west coast has facilitated the movement of passengers and goods in this most important economic region of India. It has also faced a number of problems such as sinking of track in some stretches and landslides. What are the problems or drawbacks of this railway network? Today, the railways have become more important in our national economy than all other means of transport put together. However, rail transport suffers from certain problems as well. Many passengers travel without tickets. This is the first problem. Many passengers travel without tickets. Passengers travel without tickets. Then, thefts and damaging of railway property has not yet stopped completely. People stop the trains, pull the chain unnecessarily, and this causes heavy damage to the railway. People stop the trains, pull the chain unnecessarily, and this causes heavy damage to the railway. So, in short, what are the problems or drawbacks of Indian Railway? First one, passengers travel without tickets. Tracks are old and sinking of tracks are common and landslide. Thefts and damaging railway property. Stop trains unnecessarily, pulling of chains. It will cause heavy damage to the railway. Cancellation and delays, etc. Frequent accidents. High gradients. Construction not easy. Then fixed path. Poor maintenance. Tough competition from airways. So children, let us conclude today's topic by recollecting all the concepts. Which is the principal mode of transportation? Railway. Railway is the principal mode of transportation for freight and passengers in India. And which is the largest public sector undertaking in India? Railway. So children, please note that the corresponding URL, notes of the lesson and test paper are also attached along with this video. Make use of all these available resources, study well and attend the test paper without fail. Thank you.